We are the heartbeat of America.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. It is 6 in the afternoon or 6 in the evening, and I am going to do a video based on a subject I've talked about in the past, and I'm going to throw a few wrinkles in and see what y'all think. People are talking about getting rid of the police department or defunding the police department. We need law and order as much as we can get it. We need real, true law and order that's not biased. It shouldn't matter who you are. If you break a law or you commit a crime, you need to be held accountable for it, no matter who you are. If you're a police officer, if you're a citizen, if you're a mayor, a governor, whoever you may be, if you're a citizen of this world and you do something horrible that's against the law, you should be held accountable for it and be charged according to what you've done. Now, having said that, I found out today in an article I was reading in the Seattle Times that a lot of the police, not just in Seattle, but in a lot of major areas, a lot of the police don't live within the city limits. They don't live where they patrol. I think they should pass a mandate that says that if you're in a particular precinct, if you work out of a particular precinct, whether it be 3rd, 4th, Capitol Hill, if you're in Seattle, wherever you may be, you need to live in that area. You need to have a house or an apartment in that area. You can't just have an apartment there and just for looks and then live outside. No, you have to have residents within the area you work at. You'll be held more accountable you'll hold yourself more accountable, because if you live in the area where you work at, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to screw up because they'll recognize you when you're not working and they'll come after you. If you live there and you're a citizen of that area, then you need to get strong bonds so that way you can create friendships within the area that you live in, create working relationships so they know that you have their best interests at heart because you live there too. And what's good for them is going to be good for you. But a lot of the police don't do that. Now, they're talking about defunding and talking about disbanding the police department. No, that is very wrong. Very, very wrong. Why? Because the public within itself is not very good at policing itself. The public is not very good at standing up for itself and telling the bad guys to get out of town. Why? Because some of them are scared, some of them are too busy with their own personal things to worry about their neighbor. And the bad guys know this and they will use it to their advantage. But something has to be done about the police. Something has to be done to stop the cops from using excessive force and walking all over the place. Now, it's one thing to come out strong. It's one thing to come out strong and let people know that you ain't going to take no shit off of nobody. But it's another thing to use that as a way to bully people and just treat them horrible. You need to be strong enough to do your job and also to know when to not overdo your job. That's a strength as well. There was a movie a while back that I watched called 42. It was a Jackie Robinson story. And the character, Mr. Ritchie, the guy that owned the Brooklyn Dodgers, he was bringing Jackie Robinson onto his team. And he said that there's going to be a lot of people that won't like it. So Jackie Robinson said, so Mr. Ritchie said, hey boy, we don't like your kind in our town. We don't want you staying here, boy. This is a fine hotel. We don't want you staying here. And he was going on and on and on about the things that Jackie Robinson might experience. And he said, what are you going to do? Fight them? You gonna screw up all my plans? And he said, what? You want somebody that won't fight back? And he says, no, no, no. I want somebody who has the courage to not fight back. Nobody's going to like this. Coming in here, changing up baseball, bringing in black players. Nobody's going to like this at all. They're going to hate it. And they're going to try to stop you at every turn you can. But you show them that you are better than what they think you are by the way you treat others and how you play your game. How you play your game. And I know that doesn't always work for everybody. And no matter how well you try to act and no matter how good a character you have, there's always going to be somebody out there that'll try to knock you down and take you out. That's a given. But at least you'll know in the end that you did everything you could to prove to them that you were not who they thought you were. Now, the police have gotten to where they lump everybody into one bag. Now, I'm not saying all the police are like that. There's some nice ones out there. But the union is bullying them into doing what they tell them to do. So, I say again that if you are a police officer and you are within the city limits working in a particular city, you have to have actual physical residence in the area where you work at. Whatever precinct you work at, that's where you need to be living, because you will be more on the up and up and you'll be held more accountable. Police accountability, that'll do it right there. I mean, there's a lot of police that have no accountability for anything they do. They just run roughshod over everybody because they're so used to getting away with it. Everybody wants to be Wyatt Earp, but nobody wants to be Doc Holliday. So on that note, I'm going to let you go. I just had a birthday yesterday. I turned 54, by the way. So having said that, I bought myself some ribeye steaks today. Hopefully they're good. What can you expect at Walmart? The butcher shops ain't open in my area, so I bought them at Walmart. So I have to season them really well, let them come up to room temperature, season them really, really good with salt, and till the moisture starts to come to the top. You pat it down and dry it off. Then you add a little bit more salt to the top and let it set for a few more hours, and then put it in a Ziploc baggie. Let it set for a few more hours, and then you cook it. And you get a real nice crust on it. So I'm going to let you go. And if you have anything to add to this, if you know anybody that's a police officer, if you are a police officer, and you think my plan is flawed, put a comment below. Write down here a comment. If you like my idea that the police should have to live in the area where they work at, put a comment below. If you have anything negative to say, if you still think the police should be banned or the police should be gotten rid of, put it in the comment. Explain yourself. We won't come down on you. I could be wrong here, and if I am, you, the public, need to tell me that I'm wrong. So, having said that, I'm going to let you go on that note. Remember, let us make tomorrow better than yesterday by doing the very best we can today. Have a good evening, America, and all points beyond.